Okay, so now I'm gonna drop the link. This is an invite link for you to come up. I'm gonna post it in the comments section, and I'm gonna put it right there. That's how you come up. All right, and I'm gonna boom put that right there. Ooh, I didn't put it right there. Ooh. Okay, Dolph said, let's see, possibly accused Mooney of intentionally saying what he said when Hilton asked him to read it. I don't know if he asked him a question, but yeah, we all know that he was only following instructions. Keep reading, keep reading, keep reading. Good morning. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Oh, yes, it does. Good morning. All right, guys, you can pull up. You can pull up and click on the link. And if you want to join the conversation, come up. Just click that link, and it's going to navigate you to how you get up on the platform on the screen. We have 38,000 people watching the broadcast right now from all over the world. From all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. We have 38,000 people watching from all over the world on Twitter. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. 39. Oh my goodness. I lost count, Darth. 39,000. 39,000. I think I kind of broke a record here. That's 39,000. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Listen. Oh, I hadn't made that call yet. Why am I not at the protest? Is it a lot of people out there at the protest? I'm not at the protest right now. It goes on to 12 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. I got, it's Friday. This Barbara said, starving for information. Well, let me make a phone call. Let me see what I can do. I'm going to take this comfort break, ladies and gentlemen. 5 people so far. That's why I'm not there. That's why I'm not there. That's why I'm not there. Let me know when the real people show up, not the 5 people. We need to see hundreds. Then I'll pull up. It's like going to a party that was promoted by someone who's never promoted a party before. Walk in the party, ain't no one there. Wait a minute, I gotta put a new suit on and all this. You got nobody there. Then there's the Diddy party. No, I'm just kidding. But my point is, you have the regular party, and then you have a Diddy party, but then you have the after party, which I've never attended. Anyway, oh my goodness, she's here. Aaliyah TV, you need to be following me on Twitter, because I don't know if you follow me on Twitter. It's who I was watching. Okay, I don't know who that person is. Oh yeah, Bill, I gotta take my break. Let me take my break. Listen, yeah, listen. Someone can come up and host this until I come back. Psych. I'll see you guys in a minute. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. Okay. This made me hold on. About right. Hold on. What am I missing? You guys having conversations without me? Hold on. I felt it fell in one. I gotta read the comments, guys. I have to. I just made me listen. I'll tell you what I did. I tell you what I did just now. I have this big cup, Boss cup, and I made a cup of hot chocolate with the. I'm gonna show you something, guys. I really don't really do this. I got hot chocolate with marshmallow. Look how big the marshmallow is. Look at this. That's a big marshmallow. That's a big marshmallow. We ain't playing with the little marshmallows. We want the big marshmallows. You know how they had the little ones in the no. We want them. We ain't playing with that. You got to search around and you got to open two packs. No. We're not playing that. Just give me three big marshmallows and drop it right in there. It's like that. Mm. Okay. He's on a break. Okay. Okay. So you guys listen. Those who are tuning in on YouTube, we have 38,000. I mean, if I round it off, 39,000 watching on Twitter. So make sure you guys are following me there on YouTube, on Twitter, and those on Twitter follow me on YouTube. Because sometimes we'll do an impromptu YouTube live where I don't tweet it out. So if you want to see some of the things that you don't get a chance to see on Twitter, follow me on YouTube at Mr. Dennis Byron, because I don't typically tweet out the stuff on Mr. Dennis Byron because some of it is just kind of little, it's a little kind of edgy. Sometimes we have fun with the ops and we do things. And then we go back on our other platform at Hip Hop Inquirer, and then everything put your title. But if you want to see what we got membership there. If you want to see what we do on YouTube, and I drop exclusive content in our membership section, and I got an exclusive drop today in our membership section on YouTube. So I'm going to be sharing that. I also want to be sharing some shots, not too many, that they're actually going to be released on Twitter. And some people ask me, Mr. Byron, why aren't you releasing the shots that you see that you're seeing on like the people like TMZ and everything? Why am I not putting it on my social media? It's a reason for that. It's a business reason for that. I'm still finding all your channels. I appreciate you, Barbara Cap. Are you YSL? Am I YSL? No, I got a YSL belt. Yves Saint Laurent. That's the only YSL I am. I got an Yves Saint Laurent belt. I think I even have a shirt or jacket or something. But I go on YouTube sometimes to create content that is proprietary just for that particular channel, and that's my personal channel at Mr. Dennis Byron. We have fun on there. No, it's membership $25. I don't think I have a $25 membership, because if I have a $25 membership, that's for the other stuff. That's that I gotta check out my membership tiers, because we have different tiers for different things. But like last night, someone hit me up because they wanted to get a picture, and this is funny. I took a picture in the courtroom with my big camera with Big Bertha, but then I took my cell phone out and took a picture of the screen of the camera, and I tweeted that out, and people grabbed that and they were trying to share and everything. And that wasn't even the original picture. So you guys shared a picture. It wasn't even the picture that I was going to, because you see the settings on the camera. So you literally cropped out the settings. You cropped out the settings of the camera shot, but it wasn't even the first generation. And for those who know, there's generations of images. The first generation is the shot that comes from the camera. The second generation is once you take that photo and you bring it into like an editing software like Photoshop or whatever, and you do anything to it, then you appreciate the membership, Barbara. I appreciate that. When you bring it into Photoshop and you want to clean it up, that's second generation. So when I shot the picture with the cell phone of the actual photo on the camera, that's second generation. So it does. And actually, when I release photos, I typically release a second generation, because the first generation has all the embed codes and so forth there, where I can bring it in at Photoshop and do color correction and so forth. That picture wasn't even color corrected. It wasn't even the original shot. So, but it still went viral. It wasn't even like, sometimes you don't release things because you don't really want certain things to be shown to the public. Like for example, I have pictures on my wall that I've shot that is now on social media. Never on social media. There, like I have a picture of body painting that I shot years ago, and it's in my foyer. But you'll never see it on social media. You might see it in a museum, but you won't see it on social media. I'm old school. I like to go to museums. I like to see art in museums on walls. It's like I'm old school. I like magazines. I like to be able to thumb through a magazine because I'm publishing a bunch of magazines. Some people want to see it on a tablet. But what happens if you're on a plane, your battery goes out? Well, if you're not flying one of these low budget airlines, you're probably gonna have a power cord or whatever the case is. But sometimes you just want to have the magazine, you can just put it in and you just turn the pages and it's there. So I have a whole collection of magazines that I stored. I used to see my grandparents save albums. They collect albums and they store it, like the 45s and the 78s, and they stored this and they kept it because it had a nostalgic value for them. And that's how I am with magazines. So when Detective Dennis said, I was reading hip hop magazines, I said, you probably came across a couple of mine. Because if you read The Source, or if you read Hip Hop Weekly, if you read Vibe, or if you read one of the publications, you probably seen some of my writings in there. But my writings were essentially reporting, like I did this big article in Monster magazine on the Black Mafia family. Black Mafia family, Big Meech, he's home now. This is crazy. And I want to share that. I want to share part of it. And when I hopefully get an opportunity to talk to Big Meech, it was a letter that was published in that magazine that he had written to the judge, and it was an exclusive. We didn't have heavy social media back then, so it only appeared in the magazine, so it wasn't on social media. So there are values in retaining magazines, because there's also a reference piece, no different than a book you see in the library. Like I was voting the other day, and there was a guy standing on the line, and he said, I haven't been in the library in a long time. He said, everything's online. Well, I disagree. Everything is not online. Everything is not digitized. Some things are just not digitized. So, I would probably be giving stuff to museums, and how that goes. My family, whatever way they decide they want to do it, hopefully I can navigate them, and they can obviously be the custodians of my collections and make sure it goes to where it should go to. But that's another conversation for another day. My thumbnail. Barbara, what did you say, Barbara? Okay, Lisa, greetings from Vegas. The old school is the best, if not the real thing. Yes. But you can't listen. You can't tell a young person that. I can't tell. I talked to my daughter this morning. Let me drink some of my hot chocolate. We'll get cold chocolate. Ooh, that's good. She's looking for a costume for she's a school teacher, so she's dressing as one of the members of Run DMC. So I'm trying to tell her the things that she should have to make sure her whole outfit is fit. So she got her Adidas sneakers. She has an Adidas suit. She has a Gazelle glasses, and then she has a brim. I said, what is missing from that, honey? If you really want to emulate what was done back then, something's missing. There's two pieces missing. I said, Daddy, what's missing? You need a stupid dope chain, the big fat, we call it the big fat dookie chain. When you put, I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if I show you some of my old pictures, old pictures when I was young. I had the 5-finger ring, encrusted diamond ring. with my name on it. I had the big, stupid, doopy, dope, big chain. Ron was doing it, but I grew up where, and I'll tell you the rapper's name, Slick Rick. He didn't live far from me. Slick Rick the Ruler. He had all the chains of even town today. Like back then, you didn't have that kind of gold on. This guy had all the chains, like all kind of chains, big medallions and all this. I had the big medallion piece and the Cuban links and the 5-finger ring and pair of the British Walkers and the Phil Quarterfield jackets and listen, if you're old enough, you understand what I'm talking about. If you're old enough, you know what I'm talking about. That's how. Listen. Sheepskin. I had a shearling that was from a long shearling. Then I had the 3/4 shearling. I never really got a little jacket. The crazy shearling hat, because New York was cold. New York as I grew up, it was freezing. And it was nothing to go down to the Scandinavian ski shop in Manhattan and get a ski suit to keep warm. That's how cold it was in New York. You just couldn't go get the ski suit. You had to get the boots and you had to get the gloves. That it was cold growing up. When I was growing up, it was freezing. You guys, I don't know if you understand that, but Delancey Street, oh man, we call not Delancey, we call it D Street. So on Sundays, and tell me if I'm lying, on Sundays, because we had to go to school Monday through Friday. On Saturdays, this is New York story. Everyone has a story from their hood they grew up at. This is a New York story. If we didn't go to Simpson Street in the Bronx, we went down to Delancey Street on Sunday. Delancey Street had all the vendors out there. They're more like the Jewish vendors. A lot of Jewish vendors in Delancey Street, and in Simpson Street as well. But they had all the. You walk in the store, they would have a rack of coats hanging off a line, and you would just walk in and you see all these coats. Like which one? And if they had the flavors. You just don't get a regular shearling. You get a flavored shearling, a burgundy shearling, a green shearling. Those were the days, ladies and gentlemen. Those were the days. If you're from New York, you know about the stories. And let me just say, we didn't just go down to Delancey Street. So our routine was we go to Delancey Street, then we'll stop on Houston Street and go to Cat's Deli? Cat's Deli on Houston Street. And then we go there, you walk in, I'm gonna paint a picture. You walk in there, you get a ticket, and they had this turnstile. You pull the ticket, you go on a turnstile, and it's like they had a cafeteria style where you walk down, you tell them what you want. You want a corned beef sandwich. They don't just make you a little sandwich. The sandwich is ridiculous. It would be they put so much meat. I'm like, wait a minute. They put so much meat on there on the sandwich that it was huge. But the sandwich, like maybe back then, maybe $15. And $15 back then, when I grew up, was a lot of money. And then you'll get a knish. Put a 1 in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. You know what a knish is. If you know what a knish is, put a 1 in the chat. Oh, the hot dogs. Wait, hold on. Oh, don't talk about Papaya King or 72nd. Listen, don't go there. I'm having flashbacks, ladies and gentlemen. But the knish, it was like a potato. It was potato in the middle. They fried it. It was crispy on the outside. It was square. You cut it open. You put some of that mustard on it, and you eat it. It's called a knish. I haven't seen a knish since I've been in Georgia. The closest I came to a knish is a Waffle House. But listen, no. Shay Bay, listen, Shay Hay. It was nothing to. Then you had on 72nd Street in between. I think it was off of Amsterdam Avenue, Broy in Amsterdam. They had the Papaya King. It had the Papaya King. You go in there, you get 2 hot dogs and a papaya drink. And I think it was like, it wasn't even $3, I think. wasn't even $3. But these are some of the jewels of New York City growing up in New York City. And then I worked on Broadway as a young kid growing up. I worked in a supermarket. And in the supermarket was on 80th and Broadway. But they had a supermarket in the corner, 80th and Broadway. If you know Broadway, you know what I'm talking about. But across the street, it was a place called Zabar's. Put a 1 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Zabar's. It's still there. If you travel to New York, you don't go to Zabar's. This is like gourmet store. Gourmet. They had all like imports from around the world. But I couldn't afford Zabar's. I could not afford Zabar's. But Google Zabar's, Zabars, and you know what I'm talking about. But they had all the exotic cheeses and fish, and it was just, first of all, you had all the celebrities that lived on Broadway. Like you had a lot of the actors that were on the soap operas. They had this ABC Studios near 59th and 66th Street. Then you had the H&H Bakery that was on 77th and Broadway. But these are some of the things that if you're a New Yorker, you could understand. And then you had the Central Park. Then you had the Dakota, where John Lennon was murdered by Mark David Chaplin. Then you had Strawberry Fields, was a section of Central Park. Then you had, so New York has so many jewels. So I get it when people say New Yorkers went to the dogs and all that. Yeah, because New York, listen, growing up in New York back in the 70s and 80s was different. It was very different, ladies and gentlemen. Then you had Times Square. You know, I went to school in Manhattan. I went to a vocational school in Manhattan in high school. So you had the movie theaters, and you had the if you wanted to cut a class, you go to the movie theater. Oh, my mother's not listening. Oh, anyway. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. You gotta visit New York. You gotta visit New York. Listen, it was a 2-for-1 in the movies. You know what the 2-for-1 was? You go in the first movie, you watch it, you walk to the second one. That's and don't tell me, listen, don't tell me you never went in one movie and walked to the next one. Don't tell me that. I got the marshmallow in my mouth. Stand by, guys. Let me get a tissue. I got marshmallow in my mouth. Stand by. Okay. You don't want to see the marshmallow in my mouth. All right. Okay. That was the 2-for-1. Listen, that was the 2-for-1. You go in one movie theater, and then after you finish watching that one, you go into the next one. Oh, the matinees. Listen, the matinees, they were good for Saturday. Well, what did they have matinees on Saturday? I didn't catch too many matinees. No, my people are still here. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have 39,000 people here. We right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing just a little reminiscing about my time in New York. And if you want to share your stories, you know, there are 10 million stories in the Big Apple. And that's just one of the stories. And I got tons of stories from New York. But anyway, what are we talking about here? Barbara, you didn't run anyone off. Shout out to Barbara, new member on I don't know which platform you're on. Barbara, where did you join at? I did see a member alert come up here. Stand by here. Oh, wait a minute. Not just Barbara. Hold on. Hold on. Shout out to Mixed Chick, a new member. Nyla. Oh my God, Nyla's in the building. Oh my, I miss my Nyla. Nyla, what up, Nyla? We got Radio Mover. What's up, Radio? Barbara K. Barb K. I don't. Is that okay? So that's your short name. Okay, Barb K. What's going on, members? Uh, for those who are watching on YouTube, we have 39,180 people right now on Twitter on our broadcast. I have another guest coming up shortly. I guess they're getting their hair done or whatever the case is. But she's a very high profile individual in that she makes a lot of noise, and not the bad noise. She makes she gets people thinking. I don't think any of you could guess who it's going to be, but I'm going to reach out to her now and see what her status is. Nala, what's up, Nala? Nala, are you still in the chat, Nala? Okay, okay, okay. You let us, us old people keep talking, boy. Woo! I gotta be careful here. I gotta be careful. Got some stories for you. I got so many stories. Oh my god. So a lot of you coming over from Twitter. If you guys are watching on Twitter, um, we're on YouTube as well. I'm not playing. I was playing Young Thug's music on Twitter, but I'm not going to play it on obviously YouTube because they have they demonetize the page and so forth. We're not trying to let that happen. But I'm going to call my guests and see how far are they, um, and we'll be right back. So stand by, stand by. right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, all right, all right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So my next guest will be on at 10:30. My next guest is at 10:30, which is in another less than 30 minutes. And very famous guy. When I say famous, uh, he's famous in the area. He's a part of the culture, and I'll just say that. He'll be on at 10:30, and I'm going to be sending him some stuff over right now. But he's ready. He was just in Atlanta for Atlanta Fashion Week. He's made a major contribution, ladies and gentlemen. When I say he's a big dog, he's a big dog. But he'll be on at 10:30, which is in less than 30 minutes. I want you guys to, on Twitter, make sure you locked in. This is a special treat. And then I'm waiting for my other guests to pull up, but I'll bring it on after him. So with that said, let me prep for his interview. You guys come back in about 5 minutes before the show time and watch my tweet, as I will be bringing him up on at 10:30. Right? And especially for those who are thinking about getting into fashion, or you can pick this guy's brain. You can pick his brain very well. And I'm going to announce him before the show when I do the tweet. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, let me get prepared for the interview. And I'm taking these big headphones off. I'm changing up. We got to change up the fashion as well. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys. I'll be popping in and out, but I'll see you probably in the next 15, 20 minutes. Any questions before I leave? Let me see if you guys have any questions here. Hold on. Good. Yes, I was born in New York City. New York City, in the place to be. I didn't go to St. John's University. That was a rhyme from I forgot which what's it? LL? LL. Okay. Okay, all right. Yes, yes, yes. I'm from New York City. Yes. The boogie down, baby. The boogie down. The boogie down. All right. I got the photo. Okay. Well, maybe I can share that with you right now. Hold on a second. Hold on. I guess I can share that with you since you guys are here. Okay, let me go. Let me airdrop this baby. Let's go. Okay, here we go. Okay, got it. Okay, guys, I'm about to share it. I'm gonna let you know who is the person. Stand by. Okay. Don't go yet. Hold on. Grab that. Let me grab that. Let me get that real quick here. Okay. Let's see if that's the right one. Oh, that's a big photo. He sent me the big boy. Oh, don't be too big. I don't need that big photo. Let's see. Oh no, here we go. Let's see. That picture's too large. Oh, we don't want that one. Hold on. Okay. So it's saying it's too large to download. So let me bring it into my reliable Photoshop app. I've been using Photoshop since the very beginning. When I say the very beginning, Photoshop came out in, I want to say, the 80s. I want to say 80s, late 90s, maybe 90s, not 80s, 90s. 90s. Pull this up here. Close that one up. Mhm. Mhm. I don't know why my kids think I'm more techie than them. I think they're more techie than me, but I digress. Let's get this down to a smaller image size. Let's get this down to a manageable size. He sent me the heavy duty one. Okay, we don't want that one. We want to bring this down to oh, that's too big. Oh, we want web quality. That should be good. We're gonna take that down a little further. Take the DPI down. The DPI will make it smaller. For those who don't know, that's dots per inch. Okay. Save that. All right. Here we go, guys. All right. Let's see if I can bring it now. There we go. I had to resize the image. It was just too big to bring on display. There we go. Here we go. That should be good. Okay, here we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So my guest at 10:30. You might know him from being part of a four man design team and a clothing line. He's appeared on many shows discussing fashion. Has been a part of some big fashion shows around the country. He started in New York City. He's out of Queens, New York. He's one member of a four-member team called Fubu, For Us By Us. His name is Jay Martin Alexander, and he'll be my next guest up today. You guys, if you're familiar with the clothing line Fubu, they had a show in Atlanta this past Atlanta Fashion Week where Fubu came out with some very nice pieces. I will be wearing some of those pieces on some of my show appearances, but he is our next guest up for today. So make sure you're back at around 10:30, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna interview him live. No pre-record. This is gonna be live, ladies and gentlemen. This will be live. They don't. Bob K gifted a membership, and she gifted it to you. That part she gifted it to you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen. So this is gonna be exclusive. I have to prepare for my interview. I may have to change up. I don't know. How's my makeup? We'll figure this out, guys. I'll see you back. I'll see you back. Uh, before the show. We haven't. Crap. It's like 12 minutes away. Uh, see you guys in a minute. I'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start. The show is about to start. I have my questions. Have your questions ready. And if you want to come up and ask them a question, I will bring you up to ask a question. Put a one in the put a two in the chat if you want to be one of those who will be able to ask them a question. This is an exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. We have over 39,000, not we have over 39,000 watching on Twitter. We are on YouTube. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We have an exclusive interview with the co-founder of Fubu, J. Martin Alexander.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me
There
now?
you go. Now I can hear.
Ladies and
Can you hear
gentlemen,
me?
yes, I can hear you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome J. Alexander Martin, one of the creators of the brand Fubu. And I don't know if you guys heard the intro, but this guy has uh, many years in fashion. He's served the nation proudly as a member of I want to say the United States Air Force or Navy.
Navy.
Navy. So both my daughter and him are in Navy. She's done several tours.
Nice.
Uh, and I know you did your stint there as well. You've been a part of fashion since I've known you. And that's been many years. You've been a part of so many great productions. I mean, you have you're an author as well, and just an all-around great guy.
I'm trying. I'm
So
trying.
no, you beyond trying, man. You've been doing this. When people say they're trying and they just start out, I say, okay, you get it. I understand, but listen. You've helped so many people grow in this game. Um, I've learned a lot, even studying your work habits as well as that of Keith, Carl, and Damon. And you just brought so much to this culture, man. Just coming out and the story how you guys started is incredible. And we look at how social media has impacted the fashion industry now. If you guys had social media back then,
Oh my
oh my
God.
goodness,
Forget about it.
it would have been incredible.
Yeah.
So can you start by sharing your journey into the fashion industry and what inspired you and the others to create the brand Fubu?
Well, there was a void. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. There was a void in the marketplace, or for us consumers, on what we had, or a limitation of what we had that represented us, or what we wanted to wear. We would kind of take clothing that wasn't necessarily made for certain things, like it was made for um, going out and shooting duck or whatever, and we would turn that into our own individual style. So in turn, what happened was within that void, and people saying, "Well, we don't want you to wear our clothes," i.e., the multicultural, ethnic, hip hop community, the culture didn't want us to wear our clothes. We felt the void to create what we wanted to make. Hence, therefore, for us, by us, something that's for us and that's by us.
Wow. What were some of the initial challenges you faced when you started Fubu, and how did you overcome those? How did you and the guys overcome those challenges?
Well, a lot of people always ask me about challenges, and I always look at it in a different way, because again, without those challenges, there wouldn't have been any success. Because again, I had to learn as much as I could and go through the struggles and things that I had to go through to become 6 billion, and climbing, in sales company. But the challenges, of course, was there wasn't
Well, say that number again. That's a powerful number.
6 billion and climbing sales over the
Wow.
years, 30 years, 33 years that we've been in business. But to answer your question, and to bring some clarity to it, the challenges, of course, what's any challenges of a business is learning, your learning curve. I went to school, went to FIT, and I went to school for buying and merchandising. So basically, with those skills, it basically taught me to be able to understand what people want, to experience uh, other like-minded individuals that wanted to be in fashion. Although different ways and different aspects. A lot of people wanted to be in marketing. A lot of people wanted to be, straight designers. I was wanted to be more of a creative director slash, buyer, merchandiser. So with those skills, I was able to, kind of feel and know exactly what people wanted to buy. I understood the business. I understood the the intricacies of sales, distribution, and things like that. So I kind of had a leg up when I was actually working, and then I was also working at Macy's at the same time. So I was understanding retail at the same time. So the more of the challenges were actually seeing people like us going into these particular fashion manufacturing facilities and them actually taking us seriously. A lot of times there's a lot of call and action. You go in there and you answer ask some questions, say, hey, I want this, I want that. But then, again, anytime it's almost like a baby. You threw yourself in the water and you just all of a sudden started to swim. But so we didn't really look at the challenges and it as a problem, or look at it as, we look at more of as a solution in that respect. Uh, One thing, if I could point out, again, like I said, it wasn't that many people out there doing what we were doing. So again, we were kind of creating our own lane. I think prior to us, we had, of course, prior to us, we had the great Carl Kanai, Bus
Right,
Colors,
right,
and that,
right.
and they were on kind of almost on their way out. So, and then there was a vacuum of us, doing what we wanted to do, creating, garments, or creating things that suited us because we were the customer. So it was easy to kind of do what we did because we know what we wanted, because we were we are the customer. So that was really the answer. So when people asked me what were really the problems, there wasn't really that many problems. Just, you know, breaking down the door and showing them that we can do it, and them respecting us for it. I got a
You know,
I got a quick story before I go on. Before you ask me the next question, but there was a time we were in. It was Damon and I in the office one day, and a guy walked in, and I guess he wanted to, I don't know if he wanted to sell us something. I'm not even sure what he really wanted at this point. So he comes to the front desk. Damon and I are sitting in the lobby, talking. I forget what we were talking about. But he wound up asking us, asking the front desk, hey, listen, I have an appointment. I'm on here to meet, the owners, such, such, such. He was like, well, hold on, wait. Meanwhile, we're in that lobby.
mhm.
So he walks over. So that the receptionist told him to walk over to the lobby. We have a huge lobby in the Empire State Building, and the guy kind of looks at us and says, "Hey, man, they must pay you well around here." So after we, told him what he could, do with himself and kicked him out, that was the pretty much the only really problems thing or things that we ever had, because they didn't ever seen someone like us running such a big conglomerate, a big company, and doing it at a high level like we were doing it at. So that was that was, if anything, that was the problem. Seeing us in that light, seeing, young men, successfully running a company, successfully, like I said, doing it on a high level.
And people understand you guys were at the Empire State Building,
Yeah, we
a
actually had the whole
building,
entire floor.
the whole
The
floor.
entire floor.
So growing up in the Queens, New York, and then being in one of the prime real estates of New York City, and your view was crazy.
Yeah.
So explain to people how significant that was for you and yourself and the rest of the brothers to be in such a luxurious, and I say luxurious because I think pretty much when you're in Empire State Building, that's you had the World Trade and you had the
Right.
Empire, then you
Those only
had the
two.
other building.
Right. Right. Right.
And to be there for so long,
Right.
how was that for you?
Well,
Going in and out,
again, it's one of those out of body experiences. It's one of those, what's that old adage? You give someone, with great, um, uh, uh, I guess, with great problem. I'm kind of paraphrasing it. With great problems becomes the ultimate respect for what you're doing. I mean, again, where we're put at the pinnacle, the peak of fashion, in the days of when they didn't understand what hip hop fashion or the culture was. And we were doing it, like I said, of the tune of $350 million a year, every year. and higher. So what it's like a responsibility beyond a responsibility beyond a responsibility to be able to stay on top, to be able to stay there. And again, of course, there was always the naysayers, in the business because they were the gatekeepers. The other fashion houses, the and then you still also had the high end Gucci's and all that stuff, and we were taking a lot of market share from those guys. Take a lot of market share from Polo and Ralph Lauren. You know what I'm saying? So with all that, that was the biggest like thing where you had to stay, you had to do the biggest shows, you had to be the biggest, you had to keep it going, you had to have the giant offices, you had to show them that we can do it. And then of course it birthed all the other brands that came out, and shout out to all of them, the Mecca, Walker Wear, Fat Farm, the list goes on and on and on and on, and all those other brands that came out, because now you could show that we can control this whole market.
You had a prime real estate also in Macy's.
Yes. Well,
Location.
here's another one. So we were okay. So I'm gonna tell you another story before you even ask about Macy's. So I used to work at Macy's, and I quit.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I was in loss prevention.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad you said that. So here's the kicker. Here it goes. So I wanted to be a buyer. So prior even to Fubu, right? So I'm going to school. I'm working with Damon, and I guess I'll tell you the origin of how actually Fubu really started as well. But I'm working. So I'm working Fubu. I'm working, just in case Fubu doesn't work, it's fine. I got my backup plan because I'll just be a buyer, right? So I'm doing very well. I'm in the tie department, and then while I'm in the tie department, I'm like the quintessential like person that like fashion guy that everybody wants to come to. Everybody wants me to style their suits. I probably sold more suits than people in suits, right? Because I was in the tie department, so I would always put it together and make it look nice. I have that kind of knack. So long story short, my I would have got the eyes of the merchandise manager, and it was like, yo, this guy's always sharp, always on time, always doing hours, always taking people's hours, always working. Because I wanted to understand and learn and get engulfed in what I wanted to do, because I wanted to be in fashion. That was it. I don't care what else anybody was talking about. I wanted to be in fashion somehow, some way. So one day, my manager, I remember like it's yesterday, came up to me and said, "Hey, well, I need to pull you in the office." So he pulls me in the office and says, "Hey, well, I found this tie near your section." And we don't have no section, but if we had a section, I had the home tie section because everybody came to me for ties, right? So there was a tie that was supposedly, he said, it was wedged between somewhere, and he thought I was going to steal it. So this is a thought I was going to steal it. Now, again, I dress very well. I work work pretty much all day, every day. It's every time I can work. And you're accusing me of stealing a tie. So now you're messing with my livelihood, my business, my business being me, of what I'm trying to do and my vision. Um, and I told him, look, I didn't try to steal the tie. I said, first of all, if I'm going to try to steal a tie, I'm going to steal a tie because we had ties up to $200, $300 there. I'm going to steal a $300 tie. And I was just straight up like, if I'm going to steal, I'm steal. Why would I steal a tie that was $19.99, half off, on sale, on double sale, right? And then my discount. So what would a tie that cost me $2.99 in the end? Why would I steal that? And why? And he was like, well, I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying, but I'm gonna have to write you up. Now I knew if he wrote me up, then I would, all my dreams of being, a buyer, for Macy's or any other, would be ruined. So I said, I quit. So I said, the next time I come back into Macy's, I'll be selling to you. So then I put all my energy into Fubu. Now, fast forward to Macy's. The next time I was in Macy's is when we wound up debuting our clothes in Macy's. We were the only people till this day was a live display window on Macy's 34th Street. So we were in the window as the display, showing off our clothes. So that was I actually
before before you tell the rest, I want those people who are not from New York, who's visiting New York, know how important it is to walk down 34th Street and look in that window. That window was like going to a candy shop. If you had real estate in that
Right.
window, you were on top of the
Right,
world.
and that's 34th Street, the Herald Square, where they have the parades and things like that. That's like one of the iconic, like built, like it can never go out of go bankrupt because that's like iconic place. If it did, I mean, I don't know. I think this everything would just crash, but that is a staple in New York. Like it's the biggest thing. It's the mecca. What everyone wanted, and only top people could be there. The top sales companies with top sales can actually be in there, and we were there, and we were there in the biggest way in the that you can be there.
The biggest way. And when I used to come to Manhattan, and when I saw Fubu and Macy's, I said, these guys are out of here. Do you not understand what the people thought when they saw, because you guys used to sell stuff out the shopping carts. You guys were like, you did the ultimate. You didn't go to Simpson Street. You didn't go to Lansing Street. You went to Macy's.
Right. Right. And again, like I said, we were moving the culture along, and the people were moving it along with us. Again, that forest bias was so powerful. And even till today, sometimes we still seeing how it impacted and it helped people, and it pushed us, and even I can't even imagine sometimes when I just sit back because it's an outside body thing. You're moving and you're doing stuff, again, I don't know what other people's faith are, and you could have it not, or you can have, but you're moving and you're doing things without you even knowing you're doing things because you're ordained to do this. It's the weirdest thing in the earth. And again, when I'm having these conversations and I'm having interviews, it's like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did do that. And you're moving and you're doing it without, like I said, without conscious, because it was for everyone. It was for us. So again, I always say to myself, if I never make a dime in my life after this, again, we in museums. I have a wax figure of myself. So with all that being said, there'll never ever be another Fubu. They just can't.
Never be another Fubu. It's like when I look at the pictures that I've shot over the many years, it doesn't dawn on me. And so I'm looking through magazines and I'm looking like, when I see my work in Time magazine or see in the Washington Post or New York Times, I'm saying to myself, I actually really did this. But you don't think about when you're doing it. You think about it afterwards when you're sitting down, having a cup of coffee, or maybe just reflecting. But you don't think about when you're working because we're in the concrete jungle. We got to get this work.
Right. That drive that we have, I don't know if it's just New Yorkers or I don't know what but it seeds out to different states, and I think that our drive to be successful, our drive to show that our worth, our drive, again, it goes back to that point of drive to show our worth is what we have, what we wear, what we do, our style, sense of style, all of that. Once we have it, we want to show it, and that's just who we are as a people.
Do you remember the first pieces you guys put out in the marketplace? The first, what did you roll out with first? What was the first
piece we made? Well, the first piece Damon John made was a hat. It was a tie top hat. So basically, he made a tie top hat. He went out, sold quite a few. Closed the business down because, again, that style of hat, it's called trends. Comes in and comes out. So then he stopped. I came home from Desert Storm, Desert Storm, and in the military. And I said, hey, listen, I'm going to fashion school. I'm also working at Macy's. Hey, I could turn this into a line. And, it was just this logo, just right here, FB. And I was like, I could turn that to a line. And I was like, what does it mean? He said it means forest bias. I was like, well, let me do it. And he was like, well, how are we going to do it? I was like, well, listen, I have $6,000 actually. I'll give you I'll put in $5,000 to start this business or to restart this business. and never look back.
Never look back. I heard Damon talk about. I think he had to mortgage his house.
Okay,
This something?
that was after.
Oh,
So after a while, we're doing business. We're going to trade shows. We're getting a lot of people, a lot of
orders.
consumers, liking the brand. A lot of orders, from different places all over the world, and we needed more money.
Mhm.
We needed more money. We out and put ads in the paper, looking for factors, looking for people to invest and all that. But the best thing for you or for anyone to understand is to invest in yourself. So we're like, listen, we need some money. So let's mortgage the house, got some more money, and finished some more orders and kept moving.
Wow. Okay, I don't know if we answered this, but how did you guys you talk about the logo, but how did you actually come up with the name and we you know is it more because it was not even the issue, but at some point after you guys had obviously been off the ground and rolling, running with the brand, people wanted to know, was it for us or was it for everyone? And that was a question that was asked. I would say last 5 years. Talk about how did the name come about?
Well, again, I wasn't there for the name.
Okay,
I came in and took something and made it into what it is.
better.
Right. That's what I do. I mean, I'm the I that's just what I do. So the question of for us by us initially of what it actually meant was even for the culture for us.
Right,
And if you were the part of that culture, then you were part of us. Now
right.
that us has changed and morphed throughout the years.
Talk about that.
No, I mean it has morphed and like I'll say it one more time, morphed and changed throughout the years. Because again, if you go to a rap concert right now, it's all Caucasian. Not to say
Absolutely.
that they can't be a part of the culture as well. And then you have your other conversations with other people talking about culture vulture and people stealing the culture and things like that. Again, it's it's not 100%. It's for us. And if
Right.
you're a part of it and you respect us and you respect it, right, then you can be a part of it because no one man owns it. Um,
Mhm. So when you hear the term culture vulture, um, do you push back on that because of where you come from and understanding the foundation of hip hop and how it's grown internationally?
right,
Do you think
right.
culture vulture is even a reality, or is that it's over?
Well, I think, listen, honestly, part of it now there could be something like, listen, there's a truth to everything and every part, everything that you can say. There could be some type of truth because it could be someone else's truth. And again, I'm not here to speak or on someone's vision or thought, per se, and down that vision or thought. If you feel that that person is being a culture vulture fan, that's what you feel. Again, a lot of people do things for clickbait, a lot of things because that's what they really believe. What I believe is that things have to evolve.
Mm.
So again, what was then was a man from the Bronx that created this music that in turn created hip hop. He wasn't thinking about what it was, who it was, because or what who just us. He was thinking about everyone that loved the music.
Love the
You
music.
deny someone from loving the music because you want them to love the music. Now, if you talk about the
Absolutely.
culture, what is our culture? Our culture became, what we've done, what we wear, what we like, what we dislike. Right now, if
Right.
you can even go beyond before that, you know, um, we go through cycles. I mean, at one time, the fist, the powerful fist. Sometimes it was the comb. Sometimes it was black, red, and green.
Peace. Right.
Peace. It just evolves. And
Right.
again, if you think of hip hop and you think of like of the Def Jam, one of the pinnacles of music and all of the iconic rappers, Run DMC, LL Cool J, things like that, guys like that. You had Rick Rubin in the background. Would you kind of say he's not hip hop?
Right. Right.
So again, I think that when we say that, we have to say it, and that just became our culture and what we do. When Run DMC took that sneaker and put it up and my Adidas, and everybody had a pair of Adidas on, that became our
That's right.
culture. It became
Absolutely.
how we wear our sneakers, why we wear our hat the way where we wear, why our pants are where we wear our pants, how we put on a shirt, what all of that stuff becomes us. Now, if we go even deeper and deeper and deeper into it, we got to look at the point of, we came here, through chains and bondage. So our culture is really in Africa. So we
Right.
really should start really going back and saying that is the true. That's us. If you look at someone that comes from Ireland, they go and they hear, "Oh, I'm going to trace back to my roots, Ireland." Or you go, "Oh, I'm gonna trace back to my roots, Jamaica." But what's Jamaica trace back to their roots from? Africa.
Right.
So if I think, and personally, just me, right? And again, I think that we should start really embracing that and going backwards to go forwards. Once we do that, it's not because we're not just an African American. You know, I, that's just me. I'll stop.
No, it's good. It's good. So many thoughts are going through my mind, and I'm thinking about where we were then and where we are now, and watching the youth and what they use for expression in the culture. Um, and I'm covering a high profile case, and hip hop is on trial, in that the lyrics are on trial. Some of the expressions that are being used by members of the culture are now being
Right,
prosecuted by a district attorney in Fulton County.
right.
So, do they know understand what the culture was then and how it has morphed into what we have today? Do they actually understand it? We've learned from
Of
those
course,
who've been following the case
they
that
don't. Of course, they don't understand it
they don't understand.
because again, there's certain elements of it that are wrong. Listen, I'm one to call it a spade a spade. Some of it is wrong, some of it is right, some of it is good, some of it is evil. But why would I not? Why would I be for not for the prosecution? And I say this in two ways. If a guy just went off down the block and killed your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, there's a group of people that talking about free him. That's
Mm-hmm.
just us. There's a group that's going to say free him.
Why?
Again, now there's another way to look at it. It's all entertainment. It's music. It's entertainment. Right. So why should I be prosecuted for acting or being or for that? Now, if you crossed the line and you did something, hey, prove it. But other than that, you can't use my lyrics to tell you what I've done, because again, it's just music.
And it's right. It's a art,
It's
a
art
form of
form.
expression,
It's a form of
and it's
expression.
protected.
I'm telling you what's happening in my hood. And the reason why we all like it, because we can relate to it.
Right.
And if you can't
Absolutely.
relate to it and you're trying to translate it and oh, well, that's what this means, or that's what that means, you can't, because you didn't
No
grow up
different.
in it. And if you did grow up in it, then you should know then what it is.
Right. Well, growing up in it, like you have a detective who's probably like in his mid 40s testifying in a trial, that his reference points of understand the culture was watching Boys in the Hood, Colors, and Minister Society.
There we go.
All scripted, all
Right.
scripted.
You listen, you might as well say, listen, a reality show. That's what all it is. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Fubu was a pioneer in promoting inclusive fashion. What strategies did you implement to ensure representation within the brand?
What strategies that I use to represent us on the brand?
What strategies, what strategies that did you use to implement to ensure representation within the brand?
Oh, well, that was just a little too easy because again, you have four guys that are of the brand, that are the brand. Everything we did was the brand. You know, I walked, talked, eat, slept the brand. I still do to this day. You know, we hired our friends from around the way. You know, we hired their family members. You know, we hired, and then we also hired key people in right positions. We didn't just give out, you know, legacy jobs per se. You know, it wasn't like LeBron and his son, you know, not in
Right,
that case. And then if it
right.
was, who cares? Because in the end, it's our company. You know,
That's right.
that's the biggest thing about it being able to do what you just asked me is because when you own your own, nobody can tell you what to do.
That's right. That's
When you
right.
think vertical in business, be able to to be able to own every aspect of your business, at least as much as you can, or have a percentage in every aspect of your business, you can't lose.
Right. And you know when it's time to scale.
Right.
You know
Well,
it's
the
going to
people
be
no, see, the people tell you when to scale. You know,
right.
you have a t-shirt, and if you have a t-shirt, then you need you need a hat. If you have a hat, you need a jacket. If you need a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, you need pants. If you need pants, you need a belt. If you got pants, you need shoes. If you need shoes, you need socks. If you need socks, you need underwear. And if it's bright outside, you need sunglasses.
Right.
And if you need to tell the time, you need a watch. It just kept going. And if I drive a car, I needed car rims. And if I needed to go to the
So,
doctor, I needed scrubs. These are all the licensees and things that we have. Yes,
oh, you got
we
scrubs
have
too?
Fubu scrubs.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your questions ready. Get your questions. Get your questions. I'm gonna drop the link. I know you have some questions for them because this is incredible. I didn't know you had scrubs.
Yes.
Now, do you have rims for a BMW?
We have car rims with Fubu on it. We don't have anymore.
Okay,
That
okay,
whole
okay,
thing went
okay.
out. That whole spinner thing went out. But when it was popular, yes, we had car rims.
Okay, okay. Collaborations seem to play a big role in the fashion industry. What was one of the most memorable collaborations with Fubu?
I mean, today's collaboration and yesterday's collaboration was a little different. These collaborations today are more like, a brand that is actually doing, doing some numbers. They'll team up and you'll do a small little capsule. The when we started doing, we were the first brands to start doing, collaborations in a whole nother way, but we would license product. So our biggest one was Fat Albert.
Oh yes, I had some
And then
pieces.
second was Globetrotters, and then third was the NBA. That's collaborations. Those were collaborations of yesteryear, and today it's like it's little capsules of 100 pieces, and that's that. We were doing we were doing 100,000 pieces. So it's funny sometimes people measure and go, "Oh, well, and I'm like, bro, come on, man. I forgot more than you know, bro. So stop it, stop it."
You know, it's funny. I was driving, coming across one of the bridges. I think I was coming across the George Washington Bridge, and the guy who's toll taker, he steps out with a whole FUBU outfit on,
Yeah.
and I called Keith up. I said, Keith, I'm at the toll booth. This guy got a whole FUBU fit on, and this was like a couple of years ago. I said, wait a minute, I need that fit. I said, where'd you get it from? So even to today, and let's talk about what happened. Like you appeared in Atlanta with the rest of the guys for a big Atlanta Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Um, how was that experience, and how was, as far as uh, the, the youth that were there, and what was the reception with Fubu of with the youths that were attending the show?
Well, shout out to Angela first of all. They've been doing this for a little while now, and it's the first time our schedules always would mix up where we couldn't do it, and I'm so glad that this year we was able to be a part of it. We were kind of for the host, I guess the host brand for the entire week. I actually wound up staying 2 weeks in Atlanta at that time, and again, it was so well received. I mean, it was standing room only. The people loved it. And again, kept asking us, I mean, it was almost like kicking us every 5 minutes, like, yo, where y'all been? What are y'all doing? Stop staying away. Like, we want you out here. This is our brand, and you guys are, hoarding it, keeping it, locked up somewhere. So you guys got to get out and do something. And again, it goes back to business. A lot of us, my other partners, Damien, Keith, Carl, we all doing a lot of different projects that we on our own. I'm doing Force Bias Network, media, TV, um, production studios, movies, and things like that. Damon, of course, is doing his Shark Tank stuff and speaking engagements. He's booked with a lot of that stuff. Carl is doing Fubu hotels and things like that, and then Keith is doing Fubu radio. So we have to kind of. I don't know if we got to put some brakes on what we're doing outside and come back inside to be able to create and put it out, because the people are wanting it and people desiring it, and we have to give them what they want.
Absolutely. Guys, I posted the link in the chat. If you have a question, come up, click on the link while we still have honored guests. But do it now, because I'm gonna let you guys come in. What role did music and pop culture play in Fubu's branding and success?
Oh my God. Well, music is the success. Again, coming up with, I don't even want to. I don't know how I'm supposed to mention his name at this point, but again, listen, it is what it is. He was a key figure of the culture. Bad Boy Records. So that was Bad Boy Records came up. We were, and all the other artists, rap artists that were around. We all came up together, and they would, provide the music, and then we would provide the clothing. And then in turn, as that started progressing, we're like, well, wow, we're missing out on something as well. So why don't we do our own label? And that's when Carl was the head of that. And we created our record label, Fubu Records. And we did a compilation album that actually went gold. And it was just a form of marketing. Music goes through us. We have to understand, if it reverberates through our minds, and it just moves us, it impacts us. So again, entertainment, music, whatever, Fubu, fashion, all that, it's all hand in hand. We're one.
I forgot.
We would be.
Right. I forgot to tell the people that I was brought in to co-direct the product launch for Fubu product, Natural Style by Fubu.
Mm-hmm.
And that had a commercial.
That was our hair care line and beauty line.
Yes.
Pretty good too. It's good.
Yeah. We shot that in Atlanta.
Yes.
It was Carl and I. We running around crazy for that production.
Yes.
And then I worked with Damon with Gucci Man for their music video. Those was, man. Listen, people
videos back in the day were like the way they were like mini commercials for us.
Yes. Talk about working with Todd. LL Cool J.
You said Todd, and now nobody knows who Todd is. Of course, the only people know Todd is growing up with Todd.
Absolutely.
Quick story. I used to rap when I was a kid, like every other kid. So how I met Todd, because I always say this and I always mix up this story is kind of weird. I have to always say it slow. So Todd's best friend, right? His best friend's brother was my best friend. They were in a rap group. It was three of them. LL Cool J was in a rap group with three people. I was in a rap group with three people. So LL used to kind of come over and go, hey, y'all guys are rapping. Let me hear a little bit of it. Let me, and actually help me kind of uh, better articulate my raps by telling me to rap in the ABCs so you can flow better to get your flow going. So I remember that from day one, from a long, long, long time ago. So fast forward to Todd being that situation when it was time for us to do, when I was doing fashion, and Damon would go on the road with him, and when he would go to concerts close like Virginia and things like that, Virginia, Delaware, and all that, where it was close, and they would go and hang out with LL and go to the concerts, almost like a roadie per se. But those two situations, when it was time for, we were like, hey, L, could you probably wear it? You're the biggest star ever. He came back and said, no, know what? No problem. And that has to really be understood. That's the true essence of For Us By Us, of us helping each other. I wrote a book about it called The Strength of For Us By Us, and that actually was the strength of it. By someone that doesn't have to do something, right? Sometimes it's not about, look, give me some money. Because sometimes it's about believing in the next person to help them get along. And then in turn, when we got better and we got money and we started succeeding, we came back to him and said, here's some interest in our company because you're the one that helped us make it. But he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to go out, reach back and say, listen, I'm going to help you guys. And I think that's what's missing today in our society. That's what's missing with everyone. Everyone's looking for something out of it.
I have to share this, which I don't know if I told you the story. Me and Damon were on a phone call before he went to Shark Tank. He was telling me, Dennis, I got some big about to happen. He was like, you need to, just watch. He wanted me. It was something I was supposed to be doing. And he said, Dennis, I got something big coming out. He didn't, he kept it close to his chest. Mm-hmm. The next thing you know, I want to say maybe 6 months later, the announcement of Shark Tank. I like, damn, he was holding. That was major.
Yeah, it's funny. I can't reveal the conversation, of course, he had to me prior to, but it was similar. But of course, he did tell me what it was, and he was very torn. Just to give some insight to him, he's very torn to do it because he was basically saying it would kind of pull him away from what we've been doing. Our entire lives, pretty much, our entire business lives. And then 3, it would impact his family so much. And it would kind of turn his life upside down because it would just be a different life. And again, he was really more so worried about his family impacted more so than himself. So that really, that really told a telling story of who he is and what it is and how entertainment can take you into the stratosphere. A lot of people want to be famous, but until you're famous, and then you want to not be famous anymore.
Right.
So again, you really got to be careful what you wish for because sometimes you just might get it. So you really have, and then 2, you really have to understand what you're actually asking for.
Right. It's almost like you get 3 wishes.
Right.
Don't waste your wishes.
Right.
Think about your wishes.
Right. And everything has a consequence
to those wishes. Absolutely. If you want to have all the money in the world, but you didn't wish for no taxes.
Right. No, yeah, go that part. Or now you have all the money in the world, so now you're stuck, and there's a whole bunch of poor people trying to rob you every day. So again, careful what you wish for, or understand what you're wishing for.
Understand what you wish for. So it has, it has to be a well thought out plan, right. And it doesn't happen overnight. No. It's
and if it does happen overnight, right? You really better go back somewhere and sit down and reflect on it. I always say, a lot of people come up to me and say, "Hey, I want to be in business, or what is it to be in business, and how could I be in business?" And And I'm like, listen, take all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. Write them all down. Write every single, go to everybody and tell them all your ideas and let them tell you no. Write it all down and give yourself an answer for every single one of those situations. And then you start your business. So everybody else goes to talk about go get a business plan and so you can raise money. Forget all that. You got to do your own business plan within yourself. Because again, if you can't handle all those things, all those problems, then you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. I always tell people, look, you come, hey, yo, I should be, what do you think? What should I be an entrepreneur? And if you had to ask me, should you be an entrepreneur? You should.
You probably should. You probably should. You know, and people think that being an entrepreneur is an easy feat.
Oh my God, it's one of the worst freaking jobs ever. You know, wish you had a job.
You wish you had, and has it been times where you, even growing, not when you get to the peak of your business, you said, well, you worked in Macy's, so you know, like, and I was on, you know about the 9th floor. In Macy's. That's the executive floor.
Yeah, I never been up there.
Right. No, yeah, but I was in loss prevention, so I knew, you know, I'm not gonna tell you what I did in loss prevention. Let's just say I was there. I was, you know, I saved them a lot of money, but you never knew I was there.
Right. You was the guy walking around with a newspaper, just walking around, and I'm like, really? Like nobody sees you, really?
No.
Listen. You got one little bag in your hand, walk around the whole store.
No, all day.
All day. And nobody.
This guy's a shoplifter.
Yeah.
Sir, you dropped your tie.
You a shoplifter.
Sir, you dropped your tie.
Yeah. See, I ain't no rat though, so I.
Oh my goodness. And I had, you know, different roles, you know, not just, you know, soft, we call it soft security, but not just that, you know, but boy, I tell you, man, I can tell you so they probably didn't tell you what happened, but I can tell you some stories.
I remember one day I walked, this is outside of this store, it was somewhere else. I walked in the store and these guys looking at me like I'm kind of just trying to steal something. Meanwhile, he got his eyes all on me. I looked to the left, this lady is taking stuff, putting it in her bag, and walk right out the store. White lady. I said, what? See, look at it. Ain't no color. It is who it is. Like, theft is theft. Don't just pin it on me.
I caught a police sergeant, NYPD, and I never told this story. I'm never going to tell who he is either, but he was a police sergeant, and he had I guess he was a motorcycle officer or something. Mm-hmm. He stuck stuff in his helmet, and you know, it was it's so old. I don't know. Is D'Agostino still around in New York?
Yes.
Okay, so
it's not a lot of them anymore. There's one like going uptown. Yes, I did see something recently. I think I only seen one. I haven't seen any that. Yeah, I only seen one.
So what I used to do, I wouldn't be in the store because, you know, we had the play class. Mm-hmm. I would go outside and watch from outside. Mm-hmm. And then when, you know, I suspected something was going down, I would come in. Mm-hmm. And you know how hard it was, you know, because we were two teams. We had two guys mm-hmm. playing clothes. And we had to, you know, it was, you know, we didn't care. You know, we had, you shoplifted.
Wow. That's you can't use your PBA card for that?
You can't use that. Listen, we don't recognize that. Oh my goodness. So, you know, it's, you know, and Macy's has some, you know, like they have a team of people distract you from one door mm-hmm. and they snatch everything and run out the other door.
Right.
Or the dummy bags. You know, you drop a bag on top of some product, and it's really a setup bag where they pick. You know, they'll drop a bag there, and they'll pick the stuff up, and then walk out with that bag.
Oh,
and
God,
switch
yeah.
So they had some crazy stories back then. And ladies and gentlemen, when I'm talking to my friends from the past, we come out with we share some of our stories. So don't say, well, what the heck? Thought you just took pictures. Okay, Fubu's known for its community engagement. How important is it for the brand to give back to the community?
Well, yeah, no, it's a we we used to get criticized because we do so much for the community, but we wouldn't go out and publicize it.
Right.
So it's like, oh, you didn't do anything, you didn't do anything. And then when we publicize it, we feel kind of weird about actually going out there and publicize it because, we wasn't doing it for that. We were doing it because we just do it. It's very important to do that because again, when you get these blessings, you have to give back.
Right.
You have to give back. And again, it's for us by us. So you're the consumer. You're the prize, not me.
Right.
I'm the humble servant. You're the
Yeah,
prize.
like you guys
The
donate to
consumer is
schools
the
and
prize.
all.
Like we would donate to schools, we would do basketball courts, we would do turkeys every year.
I
Hundreds of
mean,
turkeys
you
every year.
support. I supported some things I had going on as
Right,
well.
right. So we would do all that, but a lot of times, it wouldn't get the press, because a lot of times the press wanted something that's more negative, and we were so positive. There was nothing like there's nothing like you've never
Right.
really heard any crazy stories about what we've done
No,
because we
no,
were trying to
none.
be the pinnacle, the what you look at, you know, that as far as in business concerns, because they look at us they look at us, the powers that be look at us in a certain way. And we want to hold ourselves at a higher standard.
Back when back when you were coming up in the culture, did you ever envision that hip hop would be the the prominent, dominant um, genre of
100%.
music?
And you don't have to finish the
Mm.
question. 100%. I knew the brand was going to be it 100%. And I knew that hip hop, I knew the culture was going to be at 100%. Why? Because the word marketing, the word branding, the word advertising, those three words, bam. And we do it the best.
I mean, people that came up understood because I used to see how you guys was moving. I said, well, these guys are doing their thing. Like,
Bro, think about it. We have the most iconic advertising promotion ever existed on Earth, or second, maybe even third. Let's just say, with LL Cool J wearing a hat in a Gap commercial. No one can top
yes,
that. Tell
in a
me,
gap
tell me
commercial.
someone that could top that. I don't care. You viral. Think about it. Viral. We went viral when there was no such thing as viral.
That's right.
So all this today, I can understand. Listen, I get it. When anytime generations keep past, you believe that person believes that they started it, and you want to go on with that. You go ahead. I give you that. You know what? Yes, you started it. You did. Right. This is a social world. You can claim that. I got you. But imagine if I did what you did in a social world without a social.
Right.
I'll wait.
Right.
I'll
Unimaginable.
wait.
Can you share a pivotal moment in Fubu's history that significantly impacted the trajectory of where the brand was going?
Wow, that's a deep question. If I can only think about the one thing you mentioned earlier about the clothing. The clothing. No, actually, you know what? Maybe even better than that. I can. I. It would have to be. It would have to be the LL Cool J ad because that took the clothing to another level. Like that ad, that happening took it to another level. Because again, when he said for us, by us on the low, right? Which was the real meaning, which is the meaning. And everyone inside or everyone heard that for us, by us, on the low. That resonated with so many different people. And we kept it within ourselves. And this became it. That's when it wasn't our brand anymore. It was the people's brand. So that's when, almost like, a lot of people say, yo, I started a brand, or I started this as my baby. That's when your baby is not your baby anymore. It just grew up and it's off on its own doing it. It's your offspring is off doing what it's doing. Because the word for us, by us, the phrase, what it meant and how it is, it has transpired, and still till today, it's probably one of the most Googled, words or phrases.
Mm-hmm.
Fubu and or for us, by us. It's one of the most recognized phrases, period. Even companies till today, they want to be for us, by us. Like,
that's right.
How did you explain it being cultural, relevant? Oh, it's for us, by us. You can't get away from it. So I think that is when that time when LL Cool J said for us, by us, on the low, and everybody understood what full Fubu meant. After that, it was over.
You spoke earlier about contributions others have made to the fashion culture. Sean Puffy Combs was one of them.
Yes.
And he had some of the iconic shows, fashion shows. Yeah, I've shot some of the Sean John shows.
We were
When
the first to do the 7th on 6 when it was 7th on 6. We were the first.
Yes, and Brian Park, right? Yes. So when can we? No, let me say this: can we ignore some of the great things that Puffy has done for the culture? Like, would that be like? Because we have cancel culture now. They want to cancel everything someone does.
Well,
can we
stop? Let's before we even ask that question, let's understand what that even means. Cancel culture or things like that. When I came up in this world of media, music, fashion, all that, there were people who went to school to fact check. They went to school to be a journalist. It wasn't just you just say what you want to say, do what you want to do, have an opinion. With the rise of social media, it gave everyone a voice. And your voice might not make any excuse my French, sense.
goddamn sense.
It may not. Your voice may just be your opinion.
Right.
And I think that's the problem today, is that everyone has their opinion, but you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own fact.
Facts.
And I think once we stop that, and social media has also been able to turn all the crabs in the barrel, and your life is fucked up, excuse my French, and your life is the worst. And now you can sit back and live off of someone else's misery, because now you see someone else's misery as yours, and you're like, oh well, it's better than mine. You still feel better about it.
And you don't get even a chance to see their faces.
Right.
People just,
and you can hide behind a wall.
Platforms, right?
Right. So again, because someone could be sitting and listening to me telling me, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, or you don't. Okay, first of all, there's something called discography, right? You can't you cannot pop up today talking about I'm this, and
don't have
a discography of what you've done. You have people who get on social media and talk and about stuff, and it's like, you haven't done anything to tell me. How are you telling me?
You have no body of work. Like, where's your body of work?
But here's the kicker. They'll say, oh, well, you fell off. Well, you never been on.
Bars.
So I say all to say, I think that we have to have a renewed respect for what has come before you. Take what we've done
Try to
and
make it
make it
better.
better. And I will
That's
help
it.
you. But for you to down what's come before you and not care is ludicrous, because you nothing has started today unless you created a whole new something. Okay, fine, maybe something did start today. What we've done is we created our own lane. So you can't, oh, I'm gonna start a new line and my line is different. How is it different? A shirt is a shirt is a shirt is a shirt.
You're just getting on the wheel. The wheel is moving. You just get jumped on the wheel.
Right.
The wheel's been
Wheel's
moving.
been moving. So again, I respect who come before me, and I respect who's coming after me. I respect who's coming up. I respect them all. So if I'm respecting you, please show me some respect. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say something really brash and it may come off rude. But if you stop telling me, people stop telling me about my brand when you just started yesterday. Because that's disrespectful. You don't have a brand. You don't. You got an idea. You got a hobby. "30 years, I got a brand."
Absolutely. There's a lot of hobbyists out there. They're trying to tell us about things they have never even did.
I was
And when
talking to a gentleman, and he was like, "I'm telling him, I'm saying, what's GSM and what's GSM? What do you mean what's GSM? Or what's merchandising? Oh, my merch. No, it's not your merch. Like that's not the meaning. Oh, well, I don't need to go to school. Never mind, man. I'm good. I'm good. You don't. Well, we use different lingo now. We don't even use that. We can do. Well, okay. You go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead. No problem. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know anything.
and from coming from the media journalism, when I always give them my daughter sometime. I have a daughter as a school teacher, and sometimes she send me these short messages. And sometimes I have to decipher it because I don't know if people understand. It was hard coming up in education in the 80s because the competition was stiff, and we had to always be better.
Right. If you know better, do better. I don't get it. You want to do worse and get the same results, and then blame it on somebody else.
Show me the body of work. So someone reached out to me yesterday. You might be watching, but they want me to mentor them. That's a big request.
Right.
You had to first tell me what do you have to make me feel like I can pour into you? What have you done up to this point where you're coming to me? I need for you to kind of draw a picture of where you are in life before I can say I can pour into you, because I don't know how many times others have attempted. So I need to get I'm just, people hit me up all the time. And some of the people I've done that for have went on to work in big, like Huffington Post and different publications. Then others ignored it and made it like, oh, I don't get the whole full lesson, but I can run out and go out and say, I learned.
Let me throw a point. Let me say another phrase I always say. It's almost like you giving them the answers to the test, but they can't prove their work.
Exactly.
And that's what happens all the time. You think you know something, but you don't know. You know that the answer on the surface, but then if something goes to awry, something goes to the left.
That's right. How are you going to solve this problem?
How do you solve the problem? You don't know what to do. Now you're going to come back to me again? Or because again, and right now, everybody goes to Google school.
And YouTube which is,
school.
Yeah.
Again, I gave you the answer. Now what?
You have the answer.
That's it. How smart are you? Think about it. When we had I'm aging myself. When you had to put in the little dot, it was 3 answers, and then it was all the above. and you just press dots. Yeah, I gave you the answer to where all the dots fit, right? You don't still don't know what the hell you're doing,
Right. It might have been a lucky guess,
right? Or it might have been a
but
lucky guess,
if you had to do a scientific approach to it, you'll be stuck.
right?
You'll be
Right.
stuck.
Or you don't know why. Why? Why is that answer right? That's the biggest part, and people don't care about the why anymore. They just want to be right.
No, right. Microwave solutions.
Exactly.
Uh, okay, guys, start typing your questions in. I have a few more for Jay, but have your questions ready. I want to see them because I'm gonna bring them up. In a competitive industry, how do you continue to differentiate your Fubu from other brands? You kind of answer that. Um,
Well, again,
uh,
I don't really look at other brands like other people do. I mean, I do market research just to see, just to get, just for inspiration per se, not for, not in the typical way of what you're asking the question within your answer, answering your question. Um, I try to I try to stand on my own and do my own thing. And I've always been like that. I always like to go down my own lane because I have no traffic in front of me. Again, I'm not too much into the mentor particular thing kind of way where, I have to go, hey, what do you think? Do you think this is right? Yeah, I think that's right. And now you go off and do it. I just bulldoze and just keep going, going, going. That way, like I said, I have no one in my way. Um, I'm I like being creative, so I create and I just, you know, reimagine what if it's a shirt, how can I make this shirt better to the eyes of my consumer? Uh, It's not necessarily okay. Someone's making a shirt, making a collared shirt that's popular. Okay, my shirt is always going to look different because always going to do it differently because I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. So again, it's just my mindset. So that's more how I differentiate it. And I think too, the brand helps you differentiate it because of what the brand is. When you have a brand, that's the key. That's the thing that helps. I shouldn't say that's the thing that helps, but that's the thing that moves you or moves it being having a brand because a brand could come out with something. Again, it's I know that brand. I have used that brand. I have my family's used that brand. My father wore that. That is
it's, it's,
that is what a
it's,
brand is because it's something that people could respect
it's passed
and
down.
know before they even do anything. If I go off online and I buy something, I know that by a particular brand that I wear all the time, I know if I get a large, I know what it fits like because I know what that brand is. So again, longevity makes the brand,
Longevity makes
right?
the brand.
Right. Brand awareness makes the brand. And you sold 100 shirts. There's more than 100 people in the world. You haven't gotten critical mass. So
Right.
to answer your question, that's how I I'm able to stay in. Again, I'm messing up your question, but
No, no, just keep yourself
that's
competitive
how
in
I
the
keep
industry.
myself competitive in the industry
Right.
because
Right.
again, it's easy for me because I have a brand, and
Absolutely.
there aren't that many brands out there anymore.
Do you get inspiration for a design by talking to the younger people and what they like to wear? Has that impacted some of your latest creations? Just doing market research and doing
Oh
maybe a
no, no, listen, I take it from everywhere. Like I'm kind of different. Like I can walk down the block, see a display. I can walk down the block and walk into a drugstore, and I can come up with a concept for a line. I can do some research and look in medieval times and come up with a line, 1620s, and I can sit here and look at my computer or look at the surroundings and go, okay, I'm gonna create a line. Those will be that's my color scheme. Those are my buttons. Okay, red would be my highlight color. That's just how my mind thinks. It's a practice that I've been doing for years, because being a creative director. But I think that designers are designers, creative directors are creative directors. They're not one and the same. A creative director is more so a guy that's going to have vision based off of numbers, based off of research, based off of analytics. Designer is just going to create what they feel in the moment, and then the groups of people that follow that designer are going to go, oh wow, I just love his new design. Me, I'm going to create um, a merchandise line, and when I say merchandise, not the merch that people say today. Merch meaning it's an outline. You have 3 pair of pants, 2 jackets, 4 shirts, the sneakers, and it all comes together. And when you walk into a store and you see the display, that's a merchandise display. That's a collection.
Right. That's
That's a
merchandise.
collection. That's not I have a random T-shirt here and a random T-shirt there and a random T-shirt there. Now, today's fashion has changed to where you just throw on anything, right? Or you can wear a shirt with a lilac and purple and navy blue, and then wear some pants that are striped, that are orange. You can do that. It's more mix and match. You know what I mean? It's.
But that's not good merch.
Well, no, but again, it could be if that's what the style called for. That's what because again, remember Cross Colors. Cross Colors had all the crazy colors, but it's still, you had your purple pants you could wear with your yellow, pink, and green shirt. That's just what it was.
Why do you think Rihanna? I use her because she's made a name for herself in the fashion and beauty, more so fashion. Cardi more so beauty. Cardi more so fashion. What do you think makes each one of those two artists stand out in those areas?
Well, it's easy to stand. Well, again, you're talking about women. Well, here's another question. Okay, you have Cardi B. You have I'm sorry, say it again. Rihanna. But then look at Beyonce. Mm-hmm. Beyonce is trying to become that, but even with not the Beehive, sorry, even with Beyonce being probably maybe second best or even better than both of them, or one of them, or interchangeable. Her beauty, she's trying to do beauty. It's not necessarily working. She tried clothing. Now
she tried clothing. That didn't last long.
It didn't last long. You tried beauty. That didn't necessarily last long either. And now she's trying liquor, spirits. Again, it goes back to marketing the person. If I don't believe in you that you would actually wear that, I'm not going to buy that.
Right.
It's back to the consumer. The consumer's not crazy. If I turned around and I put out a suit line, people would wear it. People would go, wow, because that's what I've done, and that's what I always wear. And if I've dressed in more down, I call it upward. I don't even say dress down. I dress upward, right? I still like I'm sort of dressed up because it's my style. So people are going to look at me that if I come out with a cognac, if I come out with something classy things, it makes sense. If I came out with a Timberland, it wouldn't look right, even though I could wear Timbs, but it just still wouldn't be. I'm not that guy. So
that off top that Seraphim did. Boy, I tell you, I love that Seraphim. I went crazy with that Seraphim.
Yeah. We're working on some stuff, working on some new stuff as we speak.
It had to have that flavor, that surf.
Working on new stuff as we speak. But back to my answer. It, it's about the consumer and how they believe in you and believe in your product. Now you got to understand the market, the people out there have to understand this. It's not that they are actually creating this product. They are pretty much glorified spokespersons for this particular product, which is a company that is creating this product saying, I'm going to put your name in it. Now, they may have a great deal to where they have 50-50 ownership of it.
Yeah, but are they really invested?
Right, are they really vested in it in that respect? But they aren't going there every day, working every day, creating the product. That was the difference between Fubu and a lot of rappers that had lines. I'm actually the designer. I can actually do the work. So if you can't actually do the work, you don't know what's going on. So you're in it, but you're not in it.
Right. And it don't last.
So we really were designers. I really was a designer. So it won't last because you're not, it's not what you do. What you do is rap. That's like when a rapper goes off and he creates a restaurant, or even in the rest of the, no, back in the days, remember, everyone had their own label. They all flopped because it's different. Or a woman that can just do hair, and she goes off and she's like, or her boyfriend, or even her on her own, she saves up her money and she gets a brick and mortar hair place, hair salon. Mm-hmm. It may not translate because now you're working and you're in your business and you are your business.
That's right.
So there's a difference, and that's business 101. Like, but people see the end result, but don't understand the result. And the end result to what happens is you fail because you're not in. This is not your business.
Wow. You guys are getting something great. My goodness. I'm going to take a few questions. I have some more, but I'm going to see if you guys have any questions. Type it. I did see a few of them. I don't know if you can see them.
Please, no, I just say please subscribe. That's all I see.
Okay, hold on. I saw someone say, "Hey, I have nurse in my family," because we were talking about the scrubs. Then someone says, I'm a 44-year-old white woman, but I don't know what that means. Let's see. Not to ruin the mood, Dennis, but I am a white woman, 44.
That's nice.
Okay. You can wear Fubu.
Yeah, I didn't say you couldn't.
Right. The movie How High, they show, okay, we don't talk about that. Now, we talked about in the North, but you also had Ludacris in a video.
Yes.
Oh, he wore a product in the video. What was that whole deal with Ludacris? Talk about that.
The deal with Ludacris and wearing. Are you talking about in How High? What are you talking about?
No. Ludacris had Fubu on in the video. You remember that?
Well, everybody on Earth had.
Right.
Video. Right. I'm gonna single him out.
Right now, okay, there's a lot of people. As a matter of fact, there's a whole lot of people. Didn't Will Smith too?
Everybody on Earth. Every celebrity.
Everybody.
Just about every celebrity known the man.
It's like Keith and James, black designer. They have two stores. Well, I know the one I bought mine's in Beverly Hills. They have a store in Atlanta, but they're really blown up with this hat look.
Right. They were supposed to be. I met them. I met one, and they were supposed to be in Bloomingdale's in Manhattan.
Oh,
not Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom's. They opened a new Nordstrom's in Manhattan, and I believe they were supposed to be in there. I'm not sure if they wound up getting in there. But yeah, I like them. I like them. And they use them on red, but we should do a collab. So
absolutely,
definitely do a collab. If they're listening, hit them up. Let us tell them no. I want to do a collab.
Yeah, well, I think they were doing something with Angela's show a couple of years ago when they started out. I think they started out in Atlanta, but now they're on Rodeo Drive now.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely want to do a collab with them.
So
I
that's
love my hats.
yeah, yeah. I already know. I already know, and we're gonna talk about that because I need to, I call. Hey, call anyway. Um, uh, let's see. Looking back, what are you the most proud? What are you most proud of when you think about Fubu's impact and legacy?
What I'm most proud of. I mean, listen, I'm not one to kind of pat myself in the back, even though I was supposed to. Well, even when I'm supposed to, I should say. I'm just happy that we're still around. I
Yes.
envisioned that we were going to be around forever. I envisioned that we were going to be, have that much impact. When I first heard the name, I envisioned that I can take this company to new heights and to what it is. I'm just happy that I guess I did that. What's next and what's to come? We just keep trekking on. I'm not looking back to say for me to answer that question, it's almost like I feel like I would have to stop and like sit and like, what do you want to call it? What do you want to call it? I would stop
Reflect.
and reflect. And I'm still working every day, so I can't stop to reflect.
Right.
It's almost like taking the horse out to the pasture and shooting him when he's old and that's done. But I'm never going to stop. So I can't really answer that question because I'm a moment in time. I'm keep striving on, and I'll just never stop.
Absolutely. So I'm seeing questions coming in here. Hold on. Let's see here. Not that one. Hold on. Uh, oh, Barbara, I got your message. I got your message. Now, you um, have an opportunity to teach in schools. You ever thought about that? Teaching in the universities?
Yeah, yes, I've done something at SCAD. I've done something
Okay.
at FIT where I went, my alma mater where I went. I've done something at another fashion school I went to. I can't remember the name, and I'm sorry.
FIT?
I went to FIT, of course. I've done some stuff at FIT, and again, I wrote a few books. First book was about money. Building. No, sorry. First one was about money. Money made me crazy. So basically,
Mhm.
you work hard, you build a business, or you do what you do, and you make a lot of money. It basically kind of tells you what to do with your money. Not in the aspect of you need to put it in mutual funds or whatever, but it makes you understand who you are and your relationship to money. You need to understand that first, because a lot of people
Relationship to money.
relationship to money, right? Um,
Do you respect
right.
money? Or do you know
Say again.
I said, like coach, do you respect money?
Right. Well, you
You know,
respect money, right? Because you get it again. You get money, and you just, a lot of people blow it, and this you have to understand who you are first before you have money, and that explains that and gives you different situations. Then after you find, so now you know how to kind of not necessarily manage money, but you understand money, right? Second book was building an empire, and that basically explained all the things that I'm doing and how this all became about, how it is, what it is to be an entrepreneur, how to be an entrepreneur, what would you have to go through to be an entrepreneur, what kind of mindset you have to be an entrepreneur. And then my last book was, okay, you became an entrepreneur, you did all that, and you had, how did that happen? Well, how did that happen was the strength of for us, by us, the strength of consumers. Think of people loving us, the people with we loving them back, the strength of respecting your consumer, understanding your consumer, and that's the person that drives you and drives your business. So and that person that's driving their business happens to be multicultural, African American, hip hop culture, and how the hip hop culture can help each other without bringing each other down, can help each other even if we do fall and we fall short, then we should all be getting on social media trying to tell people, hey, listen, Well, listen, I went to this. I'm an alcoholic. Now I know I'm an alcoholic. All right, look, I went to this class. You know what? You can do it. You can stay away from drugs. You could this, that, all. That's there isn't that part to us anymore. It used to be. There used to be that compassionate part that wants to help. Now everyone doesn't want to help. They just want to have an opinion that is a negative opinion. So it's always going to be that. But again, it's the pendulum switched so far down to where there's no one saying anything good. Nothing. It's no balance anymore. So we need to get back to that. And that book, The Strength of Forest Bias, is our secret to our success. Just like there's a book called The Secret, this is our secret, The Strength of Forest Bias. Then we all can prevail.
Guys, this has been a very rewarding time with my brother Jay. Jay, they've asked, how can they find you? Are you accessible? I know I can get you, but are you accessible to others? And if so, how can they reach out to you?
You can reach out social media, of course. My name, Jay. Period. Okay, so at
we had 39,000 here, and are we going to post? I should have put it. You can type it in, and I'll pin it. Now, guys, you don't get an opportunity like this to,
LinkedIn is the same, J. Alexander Martin. And I say LinkedIn on purpose because, again, I think that LinkedIn is not getting out to the masses as it should be. I think that Facebook is glorified email address. Instagram is your own little movie, your own little TV show, your own, entertainment magazine. LinkedIn is your business. LinkedIn is the office. And I think that we all need to start going on LinkedIn a lot more. I push it so much. I don't have any interest in it, nothing like that. But I think that a lot of people should say, give me a LinkedIn before they ask for your Instagram.
It's like your business card.
Like your business card. And last but not least, Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. I've come from the Twitter world. I don't know how to call it X anymore. But X is X is just I don't know, more like a postcard to me, because basically all you're doing is pretty much typing words.
Right. A microform of communicating to the media, but it's a powerful tool.
No, definitely a powerful tool. But again, as I said, the postcard. I write, hey, this is what I'm doing. Hey, I went to this place. I did this, and then someone else sends it from somewhere else, sends it back and forth, and everyone reads it.
Absolutely. Shout out to Bob. You done gifted 5 people with memberships. That's a beautiful thing. Appreciate you. And I posted Jay's social.
Well, and my website is Jay. So even if you just Google J. Alexander Martin, all my social will come up, or go to my website. But everyone loves the Instagram. And Instagram. My name is on all, even on Facebook, is J. Alexander Martin.
Okay. Let me post that here. Yeah, I'm posting that right now, guys. Okay. So that's there. So take a screenshot. So if you need to, guys, just take a screenshot. If you're on Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitter, I have posted his contact information. So take a screenshot. It's there. And let's see here. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss anything, because we had so much fun here. Let's see here. Oh, let's talk about, for example, people, there are kind of movies being shot, and they're having, the product placement. How important is that for a designer coming out versus someone who's already established? with product placement, either in movies or
Well,
fashion
no,
shows.
and
And
product placement is like your, your mini commercial. I mean, the more, you get your brand out there, the more you get your brand out there, the more you get exposure, um, the more people kind of know about it or question it. Because again, you see, if you see it in a movie, right? And also too, you have to watch out for how you see it in the movie as well.
mm,
That can be detrimental to you. So again, you sometimes you have to be strategic when it comes to these things. You know, people don't today. There was a one time where people would just see a celebrity have a T-shirt in their hand and go take a picture and have the person hold the T-shirt up. That's
right.
not going to work. It's not going to work.
That
And then
don't seem like you
sometimes
support it.
you see celebrities or you see people wearing stuff and it looks forced. So it's like that
Mm,
person would never wear that. So I know I paid that. You could tell somebody paid them. So the consumer or the person is really the consumer out there, but they're really smart. They're not dumb. They know what's going on. So you have to do it in a more of a realistic ways. Because you send somebody a box, or and they'll turn around and give it out to their friends, and all of a sudden somebody's wearing it, mowing the lawn. Like, what do you really do? So you also too, and and
right.
and dollars and cents when it comes down to sales. You start giving away more than what you sell, you're not going to make any money.
Not.
At one time, shoot, we must have given away $1 million worth of goods in a year. So
Do
you
you know
also
I
got
still
to
have?
watch out for that.
I still have the Fubu suit. I still have a Fubu suit. It's like a museum piece now.
Yeah, yeah,
When it first came out, the Fubu suit. Oh my goodness, guys, you don't understand. When the suits first came out,
yeah.
the way the breast,
Suits are
the
doing
way the
very well.
collar was
Still,
cut.
still to this day, the suits are doing very well. Yeah.
So, guys, you can go and cop a suit. And I always tell people things come around in history. Like what I wore in the '80s will come back around. Like I was talking about shearling coats. So back then we had the shearlings. Uh, Back then we had shearlings.
Hmm.
I bought a fur coat that has a shearling interior. So it comes back around. That people just try to add their creative pieces to it. But I see things coming back. Your name is what sells the product, any product. As long as you have a good name.
Well, yeah. Listen, a lot of times names are vanity. I wouldn't. It depends. A lot of designers use their name. It is a vanity thing, but there's um there's some question marks to that. Sometimes you much rather just use a generic name and call it something else so you can keep your arms away from it. So it's all based on what you want. Like there's different ways. I like brands that are just four letters, 5 letters, the most. I like it like that because that's easy. Somebody's name is great, but it's almost like with rappers. We used to have people wear our clothes, right? And then they started getting their own deals. So that rapper, whoever, rapper A, would do a line based off of him, right? With his name or whatever, right? Oh man, great line. All right, right? But the problem is when his records are not selling, his clothes are not selling.
Right.
So sometimes you want to keep some distance between it so it doesn't become you. You do something wrong or something happens, God forbid, negative, then your line is gone. Now, there's a
Gone.
fine line between what, and again, this goes back to people, what's the word, that phrase I used, learning to getting the answer to the test, but not proofing your work, is a
Right.
lot of people throughout the internet or throughout history have heard the phrase, all publicity is good publicity. Well, no, it's not. Obviously, right now, as you're doing the case, all the publicity
Mm-hmm.
that they got is actually being detrimental to the case. So it's no, it's not.
Absolutely.
It's not that. So you really have to stop. listening to people saying things without understanding what they're actually saying.
Right, right. I never subscribe to that anyway. The right publicity is good publicity,
Right,
not any publicity.
right,
You know, and you have these new publicists that coming out and say, hey, well, tell the client, hey, if they're not talking about you, not important,
not
but
important.
it's what they saying.
Right, right, right. Or I don't care what
And
people
so,
saying. Yes, you do care what people saying.
right, unless you live in a shell or
Right,
something, you don't care.
right,
You know, you always care, especially you pushing a
right,
business.
right. It's right, and especially if you have kids. So that kid going to school and all that,
Bullied.
you know, that it affects them.
That's right.
But I digress.
And you know, and to your point, I just tell people that even in this whole Diddy situation, he has kids.
Right.
And you're like, no, it's good. No, see, you know, like a lot of evil people behind these pages, but but they won't say the same thing in your face. They say all the stuff on social media. But I'm like, well, you know, it's just look in the person's eyes when you say that and see if you have the same effect.
But
And
listen,
can you stand by it?
bitter likes bitter. Bitter and sour like sour. Sour likes sour, bitter likes bitter. They were up with the same family. So it is what it is. And again, you can't get around it. Again, some people make a living off of that, you know. So I mean, it's gonna be there. Remember, they always before this. What was this right now? Before this, there were the Star Magazine,
National Enquirer.
National Enquirer. Shout out to Hip Hop Enquirer, right?
Hold on.
Shameless plug. So yeah, so you know, that always existed, but it existed in a vacuum per se. Now it's out for the mainstream, and now we've taken it, and a lot of people, successful bloggers, and whatever, have made a lot of money off it.
Absolutely.
So again, you know, it sells like sex sells.
Someone's asking the question. Let's see. I'm not reading that. Listen, I see the. Listen, I see your message, Barbara. Barbara, hold on. I'm guaranteed it was so like he double hockey sticks. I'm gonna forward you the question.
Okay.
I'm gonna forward it to you. I'm not gonna post it here because some ideas are not made for the. You laughing too. I'm gonna forward you the DM she sent me. Interesting. And I'll send it to you. You know, if you want to react to it, I'll send it to you. If you want to react to it, then you can react to it. I'm gonna copy this, send it to you right now while she's watching. I want to look at your face as well. As soon as look at your. I text it to your phone.
Okay. Thanks for the what do you want to say? Thanks for the appreciate it.
No, we'll leave it at that.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the wishes.
Yeah, absolutely. She's an all smiles here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank my guests for pulling up. How long have we been going? This is a good conversation, brother.
Man, what's this? 2 hours? How long have we been there?
Golly.
No. 1 hour.
1 hour. Well, that's good. That's good.
We
have 30.
That was like 3 hours. That's why I was like, wait, that's only 1 hour? Sheesh.
No, that's good.
Yeah. But
Listen,
time flies when you're having fun, talking with old
abs-
friends.
absolutely. I appreciate you. Uh, I will be calling upon you, I'm sure, in the future. But this is a beautiful thing. Ladies and gentlemen, those who are watching on Twitter, I appreciate you guys' loyalty. You have 39,000 people. That's a record. 39,000 watching on Twitter. 39,000. And now we're gonna repurpose this. We're gonna you gave me a tool this week.
Yes.
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about it yet. But I'm getting that. I'm actually gonna get it today.
Yeah. This it'll be great for this.
Absolutely. And the setup is good for this, right?
Right.
Okay.
Perfect. You'll see.
All right. I'm looking forward. Jay, appreciate you, my brother. I love you. I love what you do. I love the support you always been, over the years. And we 20 plus in. So,
yes,
with that, whatever you need from me, I'm there for you.
I appreciate it. Likewise.
Yes, guys. You didn't throw the questions. You guys listen when you get these CEOs in the building and you don't have the questions ready. You might we have a captioned audience here, and then we have a great man here. But try send him a DM. Maybe he'll hit you back. We'll see. All right, my brother. I'll see you on the. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, guys. Great show. I definitely appreciate you guys hanging in there. I've been getting emails of other individuals who want to come up at some point today. We're running. Let me tell you why the stream is still up, because we're running this marathon of sorts to see if we have a decision today. We see see what this judge has decided. But meanwhile, we want to bring in some important people of the culture and provide perspectives. Like, there are 5 elements of hip hop. He's part of one of those elements. And it's a beautiful thing that we can do that. And I'm having other people come up in the film, fashion, and music. So you guys lock in. Make sure you are following us on social media. You see this. I don't know if you guys can see what's scrolling there. Let me see if I can bring that up. Oh, okay. Yes, it is. I just see it. I see. Okay. Let me just bring this up here. This banner up here. Let's see here. A lot of you can see the ticker. You can see the ticker there on the bottom. Southside Chi-Town. Southside Chi-Town. Yesterday, listen, it was a lot going. Listen, Southside, I had so much going on yesterday. We had to draft letters up and send cease and desist, and we just don't. We had a lot of stuff going on. Takedowns. We got things going on in the background. We had things going on. Bob gifted another. Bob, you on one today. You gifting left and right. I appreciate you. I really do. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're on Twitter, come over to YouTube, because it goes down on YouTube as well. So I want you guys to come on over to YouTube. I still got to drop a photo. I'm gonna drop it on Twitter today. Actually, I'm probably gonna drop it within the next hour. But this is a shot from inside the courtroom that you guys haven't seen. And we're gonna put this in context. Because I gotta watermark my stuff. I gotta watermark it. It's just snatching the work, and I gotta fight them to get it. Anyway, that's another conversation. But I appreciate you guys who are tuning in. I gotta take another comfort break. After each interview, we need to. I got to change up again. I have another wardrobe change. Thank you, Bar. I appreciate you. Southside, you're looking good over there in the membership section. Keep it up now. You guys have got memberships. You make sure you thank the person who has gifted you. Make sure you keep those memberships up because you will want to be a part of the members only live. Good afternoon, Cole MF Green. Cole, if you're Cole MF Green, like that. I like that. Yes. Southside, you my friend too. You my friend too. I'm gonna get you to stop smoking too. We're gonna try. I appreciate it. I appreciate you subbing. Make sure you. I don't know which channel we have. Hip Hop Inquirer, and then we have Mr. Dennis Byron. Appreciate that. I appreciate that, guys. We're coming back some more guests today. We got a marathon going on today. It's Friday. It's Friday, so we're gonna have a little fun. Anyone, give me an update on that protest in Atlanta. Last I checked, there was 6 people out there. Let's see. Is it over? It's over already. It happened. Stop. I hope you can. Yeah. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. We are gonna try. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be in the holding pattern of sorts. We're going to end the YouTube live stream, and we'll come back and start the next YouTube live stream. We're going to end this one and start the next one. But we're going to be live streaming on Twitter with some music in the background. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you. I'll see you shortly.